Imagine, if you will, a world just silent, wiped clean. And after all that time, just one small sign appears. Not some grand announcement, but a quiet, living hint of something new beginning. Today, our deep dive takes us into a story we all sort of know, but maybe not this closely. Genesis 8, verses 10 to 15. It really details Noah's, well, his very careful steps and these subtle signs of life returning after the flood.
That's right. And our mission really is to unpack the incredible patience here and the careful observation, the deep faith that's packed into just these few verses.
Yeah, how tiny details like a bird coming back or even just a leaf carry so much meaning. And what this tells us about waiting, watching, knowing when the time is right.
Exactly. And what strikes me right away is how deliberate Noah is. It's quite something. Take verse 10. He waited 7 more days and again sent out the dove from the ark.
7 more days.
Yes, it's not just sitting around, is it? It feels very methodical.
Almost structured.
Like he has a plan. He's not just desperately throwing birds out the window. Precisely. He isn't rushing, even though you can imagine the urge to get off that ark must have been immense. He's actively looking for clear signs, verifiable proof, you could say.
And the number 7 keeps popping up.
Yeah.
That feels significant.
It often is, isn't it? In this context, it often points towards completion or maybe God's perfect timing. It suggests his patience isn't just endurance. It's rooted in trusting a divine rhythm, a bigger process.
And this careful waiting, this observation, it leads somewhere specific, doesn't it? Verse 11 is huge.
Oh, absolutely pivotal. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf.
Wow. Just imagine seeing that.
Right. After all that devastation, that silence, it's the first real, tangible proof that something new is growing.
A life is actually returning.
Exactly. And the olive leaf itself, well, we know it as a symbol of peace, of hope, generally. But here it's incredibly specific. It means the waters are really going down. The earth is starting to, well, renew itself.
It's a small thing, a leaf, but it speaks volumes.
It really does. It makes you think about how we spot those subtle signs in our own waiting periods,
Definitely. Because the next sign is even more subtle, in a way.
Yeah.
Verse 12.
Yes, he keeps the same pattern. He waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again, but this time it did not return to him.
And that absence is the sign.
Exactly. The not returning, that carries enormous weight here.
It means it found somewhere else, somewhere habitable.
It found a place to settle.
Right.
Which confirms, okay, dry land is finally available. It's safe out there.
It's not a loud declaration, is it? It's quiet.
Very quiet, but profound. It's confirmation that the promise of restoration is unfolding, a sign found in what isn't seen, in a sense.
That's a great way to put it. But Noah, he doesn't just rely on the dove vanishing, right? He seems to combine faith with, well, checking things out himself.
He does. Verse 13 gives us that really precise time marker. By the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. And then it says, Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry.
So he sees it with his own eyes.
Yes. He trusted the signs, the dove not returning, but then he takes that practical step. He lifts the cover, looks out, verifies.
It's a mix, isn't it?
Yeah.
Spiritual listening and empirical observation.
A beautiful blend, I think. But then the patience level goes up another notch, which is just astounding.
How so?
Well, verse 14 gives us another time marker. By the 27th day of the second month, the earth was completely dry.
Okay, so there's a gap.
A significant gap, almost 2 months after he saw the ground was dry in verse 13.
He saw dry ground and still waited nearly 2 more months.
Yes. Think about that. That's not just patience, that's extraordinary trust. Trusting divine timing over his own eyes, in a way.
Wow. Why wait longer if it looked dry?
Well, some interpretations look at the Hebrew words used. The word for dried up in verse 13 might suggest more of a surface drying, whereas the term in verse 14 implies something much more thorough, like completely dry, fully ready.
Ah, so not just not wet, but fully restored.
Right.
Ready for life again.
Exactly. He wasn't just waiting for it to be habitable, perhaps, but truly ready, restored, ready for a new beginning.
So he waits. He watches the signs, he checks for himself, he waits even longer.
Yeah.
What finally gives him the signal to actually leave?
It comes down to verse 15, the ultimate green light, as you put it. Then God said to Noah,
The direct word.
The direct word. After all the observation, all the waiting based on signs, this is the specific instruction.
That feels incredibly important. God speaking again after potentially a long period of, Well, managing things through signs in nature.
Immensely significant. It reinforces that idea that that true guidance, the definitive go-ahead, it comes at exactly the right moment.
He doesn't move just based on the dry ground or the dove. He waits for that explicit command.
He waits for the word. It's the final piece. Not just observation, but instruction.
So these verses together, they really paint a picture of waiting well, don't they?
Absolutely. It's about the wisdom in waiting. Not just waiting for hardship to end, but waiting for real clarity on what to do next.
Noah's whole journey here, it's like a masterclass.
It really is. Patience, faith, obedience. Knowing when to wait is sometimes the most active form of faith.
And knowing when you get that clear signal to move.
Precisely. When the permission, the instruction, finally arrives.
And it also speaks to how restoration works, maybe. It's not just, bang, the bad thing is over, go back to normal.
Good point. It suggests God doesn't just pull you through something difficult. He seems to guide you step by step into what comes next. A genuinely new beginning.
It's deliberate, guided, not just being thrown back into the world to figure it out.
Exactly. It's being led into something whole, something prepared, not just survival, but a readiness for what's new.
It's the difference between just getting through something and being purposefully led into the next chapter. A thoroughness to it.
Yes, a thoroughness in the provision, in the guidance.
So as we kind of wrap up this exploration, maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. Where in your own life could you perhaps benefit from pausing? Really listening for direction instead of maybe rushing ahead. And how can you get better at spotting those olive leaves on your own journey? You know, the small, subtle signs that things are shifting, that progress is happening, even if it's not the final answer yet.
That's a great question. And maybe what helps you stay patient? What beliefs or practices keep your faith steady during those times of waiting, those in-between times?
And critically, how do you discern when it's really time? Not just possible, but right to move forward.
Yeah, it's worth considering how real restoration often needs more than just the trial ending. It needs that deliberate, patient, guided transition into whatever is next. What new beginning might be quietly waiting for you? And perhaps, what subtle sign are you looking for right now that says, okay, get ready for the next step?